It's a big, major, massive L for Prince Harry as he loses his bid to include Meghan Markle in his hacking lawsuit against the media. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to another dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught me eye. And oh my goodness, yes, let's jump into this madness, shall we? Now, you guys will have seen these headlines all over your news feeds, I'm sure of it. Has losing his bid to name Rupert Murdoch in the hacking claim. However, when you go through it, he also loses his bid to include Megxi in this lawsuit as well. So let me explain. So as of the filming of this video today, Mr Justice Fancourt said the claims about Mr Murdoch's alleged knowledge of unlawful activity at the group added nothing material to the case. Now, we know that it's not just Hazard, but several other high-profile claimants are suing NGN, who is a publisher of The Sun and a now shut down News of the World. NGN is short for News Group Newspapers. Now, a spokesperson for NGN denies the allegation and said that the court had thoroughly vindicated the group's position by refusing permission to introduce large and significant amendments to the case. And we're going to get onto the Megxi amendment that was denied in a moment. And so one of the other things that Hazard was denied was that he wanted to push the timeline of the case back to 94 and 95 to actually include allegations involving Princess Diana. But Mr. Justice Fancourt was like, dude, that's way too late. And here we go. He was also denied permission to amend the lawsuit to add new allegations that the Sun ordered private investigations to target his then girlfriend, now wife, Megxi, in 2016. So not only was he trying to get Princess Diana into this lawsuit, which the judge was like, not happening, mate. It's way too late. But then he had the cheek to also try and get Megxi into this hacking lawsuit as well from back to 2016. And Mr. Justice Fancourt being like, dude, I don't think so. Now, there was a little bit of a win for Prince Hazard, so let's keep it 100 here. He was granted permission to alter his case to include allegations that the paper had tapped his landline phones and to make further accusations against journalists and private investigations. So earlier this year, lawyers representing a number of claimants suing NGN claimed that Mr Murdoch knew of the unlawful activity as early as 2004, but turned a blind eye to the allegations whilst overseeing a culture of impunity at the publisher. Now, in court documents, Hazard's lawyer argued that it could be inferred that Mr Murdoch was aware of the nature and extent of NGN's wrongdoing by virtue of his dominant position at NGN. So basically, what they're turning around and saying is, Mr. Justice Fancourt, Rupert Murdoch ruled with an iron fist, all right? So, because he ruled with an iron fist, it would be absolutely impossible for him to not know this alleged hacking going on. That's a pretty big assumption to make without any actual evidence whatsoever. And we all know about Hazard and his big, massive assumptions, right? Because when he sued MGN last year, so that's the Mirror Group newspaper, another one of his hacking lawsuits, right? He was like on the stand and the MGN lawyer completely destroyed him. They went through every single article that Prince Hazard took to the table. And Prince Hazard was like, you could have only known this through hacking. And the lawyer was like, dude, an article about this very same story from another outlet was released a couple of days prior to ours, a week prior to ours. At one point, the information came from Hazard himself through the Associated Press article. Like, we know, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Hazard likes to make big, massive assumptions, right? And it's the downfall of him. Now, Hazard's lawyers said, cannot resist adding more and more detail to the claim as more and more pieces of the jigsaw are found, with a view to having the fullest possible picture to put before the court and be the subject of journalists' reports and judicial findings. In other words, as they did against the Mirror Group newspaper, they're just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And to be fair, the judge in the Mirror Group newspaper trial, which again, I believe was Mr Justice Fancourt, if I remember rightly, actually chastised them for doing that. Because it was like, look, nearly half of the articles, there were nothing wrong with them. Like, dude, be more selective next time, right? Now, Mr Justice Fancourt said, look, the trial is not an inquiry. NGN said at a hearing in March 2024, the claimant sought to introduce wide-ranging allegations into their pleadings. NGN argued that a number of these were irrelevant to the fair and just determination of claims and had nothing to do with seeking compensation for victims of phone hacking or unlawful information gathering. The court, in its judgment today, has thoroughly vindicated NGN's position and did not give permission to introduce large and significant portions of the amendments. Hazard and the other claimants saying the claimants are pleased that the court has today granted them permission to amend their case in relation to a number of significant issues vigorously opposed by NGN. They're trying to spin it, but this is a big, massive L, particularly for Hazard, right? The expanded case will now be determined at a trial in January 2025. So you best believe, just like I covered the trial when Hazard tried to sue Mirror Group newspaper, I'm going to be doing the same for NGN. So do make sure you subscribe, join our alternate tribe, and stay tuned because we're in for a bumpy ride. But this is the thing, right? When I saw this article and I read it and I saw that Hazard lost his bid to include Megxit in his hacking lawsuit against the media, it brought to mind this little tidbit here. Do you all remember this from last year when, again, Hazard was on the stand testifying against Mirror Group newspaper? He literally said that he was taking legal action to stop hate towards him and Megxit. So it's no wonder that Hazard tried to include Megxit in his current hacking lawsuit against the media and failed, by the way, because he literally said it last year. He's doing this for Megxit and for him, but, for Megxit, right? I wonder how much Megxit's pushing him to do this. I'm just asking for a friend here. But this was at the time, him on the stand, giving evidence against Mirror Group newspaper. At London's High Court, he explained he started discussions about possible legal action after a chance meeting, in France in 2018 with his now barrister. He said that he had no concerns over any particular newspaper stories due to unlawful activity because it was all contained in the palace. But when asked about his discussions with lawyers after that chance meeting with Mr Sherborne, Prince Hazard said he had wanted to put a stop to the absolute intrusion and hate that was coming towards him and Megxit. Oh, yeah. He said he also wanted to see if there was any way to find a different course of action rather than relying on the institution's way. But in cross-examination, Andrew Green KC, who was the barrister for MGN and did an absolute wonderful job of creating a bloodbath when Hazard was on the stand, suggested Hazard had not found a single story that came from phone hacking. So for him to turn around and say, look, I'm just wanting to put a stop to the absolute intrusion and hate that was coming towards him and Megxit, well, he didn't do a great job when he was on the stand. And he hasn't done a great job here when he's now fighting against another media conglomerate, NGN, and he's tried to include Megxit in his hacking lawsuit against them and totally failed. With that being said, if you appreciated this video and you want more, believe me, of course there's going to be more, then make sure you subscribe to join our alternate tribe, because I'll be honest with you, help us get to now 1 million so we can also get that gold play button right there and hopefully cause a Meghan Markle meltdown on Instagram. Like, share, comment down below your opinion, conspiracy theories, whatever's. Also as well, if you've got some very strong opinions when I could get my teeth back in about Hazza losing his bid to include Megxit in his hacking lawsuit. And I bet you do. Then make sure you send me a super thanks. It's just below this video right here. We can have a conversation about this because it does guarantee a response from me. And until the next time, you guys, laters.